जय गजानन। गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं, हेरम्बाय एकदन्तिनि, स्वानन्दवासिने तुभ्यं, ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः. With humble pranams to all Paramacharyas, Acharyas and Gurus, let us continue our discussion with Yoga Sara, the second part of Vinayaka Rahasyam. Today we shall look into who are those 5 Ishwaras, Pancha Ishwaras. Ishwaras are 5 in number as stated in the Vedas, and this is the basis for the gunas, that is the quality, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And the 5 Ishwaras are Shakti, Surya, Vishnu, Shiva. These are the 4 Ishwaras, and the unmanifest state of each of these 4 is the 5th or the Pancham, who is known as Gunesha. And the gunas are 3, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These gunas are distributed among these 5 Ishwaras. And permutations and combinations of all these 3 gunas produces a wide variety of things in this living world, in this universe. But even these divine bodies, these divine Ishwaras also have certain gunas attached to them, but they don't have the physical bodies that are subject to death as we have. The power of knowing in a human body does not exist in an animal body. Animal doesn't have the inner knowing as we human beings do. The bodily powers of the 5 Ishwaras are different from that of the human beings, in the sense that they are able to assume a body of choice. These Ishwaras can transform, because of their access to their unmanifest aspect also, they can assume a body of their choice, of their own will. That is why they are able to just think of it and manifest somewhere. But such powers are not visible to human beings. We may not even know if Ishvara comes in front of us as a human being. And he might just disappear as well. That is the power of the Ishvara. Human beings are subject to birth and death. We are born, grow, and then we attain an old age, and then we die. We have a process. But Ishvara, because we are not divine, when we say the name and form, it means that we can see them visibly, individually. These are rights given in the Karmakanda of the Vedas. Karmakanda gives the power of the gods also. Brahma has appeared several times on earth as Lokadeva. Description of the 5 devas appear in the Upasana Kand. Brahma has manifested in various forms as Annam Brahma to Bhuma Brahma, Earth Brahma, making use of various tools. When Brahma goes as a Mauni, that is one who is completely silent, he is Purna Brahma. When we say Indraya Swaha, when we make some offering into the Havan and say Indraya Swaha, it means that offering goes to Indra, Sureshwara. Wherever the fire goes, Indra goes there in different forms. The fire is the conveying medium through which our offerings, the essence of our offerings are taken to the heavenly realms and reaches the gods in the heavenly realms. Indra has different powers for carrying out various functions. Just like a king, he has several ministers for administration. Finance is looked after somebody, defense is looked after somebody, agriculture is looked after by somebody. So also Indra has several people to look after the administration of this universe. Indra is a king of all gods. So the different powers of the gods can actually be seen. We can actually see the power of the god acting in our daily life. See, when the rain comes, we know it is Varuna Bhagavan. Varuna Bhagavan is functioning there. When the sun shines, it is Surya who's doing his function. So when we put the offer, similarly when we want to make some offering to a god, we say the name and we make that offering. So when we say chant the mantras of Shiva, Vishnu, or other suktas which are there, when we are seated, we sit near that respective deity. We don't sit in front of a Shivaling and say something of Vishnu, chant the suktas of Vishnu. Similarly, when we are sitting there in before an idol of Ganesha, we don't chant the Shiva Suktam. Right? So doing Archana of Gananayaka by chanting the names of Shiva or Vishnu or others, this will create obstacles. We do many things just as a matter of fact. In fact, so many mantras which are chanted are pertaining to some other deity, whereas we are worshipping some other deity. So we should be very careful that we chant the appropriate mantras according to the deity. Otherwise, it will create obstacles. Like if you are going to a Shiva temple and there you chant Vishnu Sahasranam because that is what you know by heart, it will create obstacle, because Vishnu, what is Vishnu's function? Vishnu's function is sustenance or maintenance of this world, whereas Shiva's function is to destroy. So there will be destruction. There will be an obstacle. So it will not remove the obstacles. It is necessary, therefore, to perform karmas which are appropriate to the gods and who have that necessary authority for that. Just like in a government office, when we want to get a loans, apply for a loan, we don't go to the cash department. Or we don't go to the deposits department. We go to the concerned person who has authority to attend to you, to give what you want. Similarly, even gods, they have a certain authority, certain functions to be performed, and accordingly we have to approach. Authority has been divided among the 5 gods for administrative purposes. The 5 gods, who are Shakti. Let us begin with Shakti. Shakti has all the qualities. Now, okay, let us begin with creation itself. Brahmadeva is the creator. He has the power and authority for creation. He has all the knowledge of creation. Vishnu is maintenance. He will see that there is a balance in the whole world. There is whenever there is adharma, he manifests and establishes dharma. So he equalizes. He is an equanimity. He establishes equanimity in the world. Shiva is for destruction. He is that is his authority, powers entrusted to him. Shakti is, Brahma has Rajasic energy, Vishnu has Sattvic energy, Shiva has Tamasic energy, because those are the qualities of the energies, the functions of those energies. Shakti has all the 3 qualities because she is Shakti along with that is Maya. She has to enchant the world, she has to create the various living Prakriti, she has to create the various names and forms in this world, and so each of them will have different proportions of these 3 qualities. Some sattvic may be more, rajasic may be more, in some maybe in stones tamasic is more. So like this, various things in creation have different qualities. So Shakti has all 3 gunas. Surya is the Atma, the sense of I, the sense of doership. That is the quality given by Surya in all, which is present in everybody. When we do some actions, we say, I do that, I am doing that. That sense of doership that we have is given by Surya. So each of these deities have these qualities. So we have to worship, when we are worshipping each of them, remember their authority and what they can offer us, depending upon the functions that they perform. So each of the 5 gods have one kind of activity each, And Gunesha is endowed with all these three qualities and as an authority. That is all the three qualities of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So still he has also the Pancham, the qualities of Surya and Shakti, because he also has an essence of doership, and Shakti's qualities are also coming from him. So Pancham is of the Turiya of all the 5 Ishwaras. Now from Gunesha, one aspect, Ansh was born as Shiva Parvati's son, who was appointed as Jeshtaraj, who is addressed as Ganaraja. We address him by various names. Now he is the one who is to be worshipped first, because he is the one who removes all obstacles, because he is present as a witness in all. He is the Sakshi Bhava. He is present in all living beings as Sakshi Bhava. A certain Sakshi Bhava, we may or we may not have access to the Sakshi Bhava. Only through training, through meditation, through practice, yogic practice, we can develop that muscle of Sakshi Bhava. Sakshi Bhava, it is like when you are looking at it like a movie, looking at yourself like a movie, as if you are a player in the movie. So that requires a little bit of practice. So that Sakshi, as a Sakshi Bhava, it is present. He is present in all. So Vedas determine this distinction among all the devas, all the gods. So this is what Brahma is telling the Munis who are sitting there. It is accepted by the Vedas, which becomes an umbrella to include everything as stated in the Vedas. So the Suktas and Upanishads to become an umbrella for of the Lord. Jeshta Raja is a power that removes obstacles. As a witness, you can easily observe things as dispassionately. And so when we access that power, when we worship Ganesha for accessing that power, that power helps us to remove the obstacles. With that very power, the obstacles get removed. He is a Lord of Siddhi and Buddhi, who is an independent power, and they have the consent of Shiva and all the Pancha Ishwaras, and that is why he is appointed as the Ganesha Brahmanaspati, as a Lord of all. He observes the functions of all, and he is present even in these Ishwaras as the Sakshi Bhava in each of them. So they are able to observe themselves in the performance of their function also. So that is why he becomes the Lord of all Brahmas. All are Brahmas. Shiva Brahma, Vishnu Brahma, Shakti Brahma, Surya Brahma. So all these Brahmas, the Brahmanaspati is Ganesha, who is also, and Gunesha is the Pancha. Just as someone standing close to a king desires to become his favorite, so also the ministers stand before Ganaraja in the assembly of Ganaraja. All of these people all the Ishwaras are present. Shiva, Vishnu, they all are standing in his presence and singing the Suktas in praise of Ganaraja. So if you pretend to follow the path of Ganesha, that it is necessary that you should worship Ganesha, not chant something else in praise of Ganesha. Shrutis say that the end of Kinkaras from the whole world was entirely diplomatic. Brahma began the creation with devas, that Kinkaras were there, but then it was that race itself was removed from creation because of this kind of mismatch. Brahma began creation with devas and then the elements. Everywhere there was a uniform intelligence, means he began with all these Ishwaras were created. Then came the various elements, that is earth, fire, water, the primordial elements, the sense objects, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, the sense of hearing, then the organs of action, then the sense organs also. All these were created by Brahma one after the other. So the Brahma's role as creator, he is like the king. He has the intellect of a king. So they should do their duty as per Vedas and Shastras. So doing contrary actions will bring contrary results. never avoid truth. This is the best of experts in the Vedas emphasize that always remember the truth and adhere to the truth. Truth can never become false, and false is what is false is always false, and what is true is always true. So when ministers come close to the best of kings, so then they begin praising the king. He should be pleased, of course, when they praise this, they hail the king, so that the king will be pleased. When the king is pleased, then naturally he will behave with them also pleasantly, which brings happiness to himself as well as to the ministers. Therefore, praise him for what he is, not in a false way. So if you praise him genuinely, he'll be pleased with that. Similar is the case with kirtans. So when we sing kirtans are sung by Shiva and others in front of Ganesha, Shiva and others also do mantra japa. They recite the suktas and Upanishads. So he is pleased in the company of Shiva and others who are in the proximity. They do japa and sing his praise. So it is also well known that Shiva and all Ganas used to put initially, before Ganesha was appointed as Brahmanaspati, it was to Shiva that everybody used to worship. Shiva was considered as the Ishwara for all the others. Brahma, Vishnu, all of them used to come to Shiva, to Kailash. So Shiva was considered as the Lord earlier, before Ganesha was appointed. So at that time, it is well known that Shiva and all the Ganas used to do puja of Isha first. Earlier, puja used to be done by Ganas in this manner. Wherever and whenever and whatever is heard, it is spoken as it was then. So whenever we study these Puranas, Itihasas, sometimes we wonder, okay, in Shiva Purana it is mentioned like this, in Vishnu Purana it is mentioned like this, in Devi Upanishad, Devi Mahatmyam it is mentioned. Remember that what is mentioned in the Shiva Purana is when Shiva was considered as the Ishwara, as the supreme, that is, it was in Shiva's Kalpa, when he was predominant. So also when Vishnu was predominant, his Kala also was there in the Krita Yuga, during that, in the first Kalpa, where there were different, each of these was supreme. So we find worshipping them as a supreme during their period. So accordingly, when actions were done by Ganapa during the Vedic period, Ganesha was considered supreme. So that's why we had the Vinayaka Kalpa also. So now when we are following the Vedic path, doing the Ganesh Puja is a must. It has to be done appropriately. So when we are doing the worship of Ganesha, we need to read Itihasas, Puranas relating to Ganesha, the Ganesh Darshanas, particularly the Upasana Kalpashastra by Vedikas. These are prescribed. So Vedic Marga, those who follow the Ganesh Vedic Marga, they worship Ganesha according to the Vedas. The yogis who follow the yogic path, they do samadhi sadhana. They do meditation. First, they stabilize themselves through the Ashtanga Yoga sadhana, and then follow sequentially the steps as given in the Ganesh Gita. After stabilizing in samadhi, then there are specific steps in attaining super conscious meditative union and supraconscious meditative union. It's called Samprajnat Samadhi and Asamprajnat Samadhi. So it needs to be done sequentially by doing Asad Brahma, Sad Brahma, Samabrahma and Sahaja Brahma, following each of them one by one, and then you attain the Soham Brahma, then you have Swananda Brahma, Swananda, and then you attain Purna Yoga Shanti when you experience the being of Ganesha in Asampragnat Samadhi. So these are all steps where yogis can follow in the Ganesh Marga for attaining liberation. Similarly, the path of Ganesh Vaidika, there are also mantras to be followed by Vaidikas for performance of Ganesh Puja, for specific Vishesh pujas, and also for doing ancestral pujas. The Brahmins who had resorted to Ganesh Shastra, these are called Ganesh Shastra. Ganesh, those who worship Ganesha exclusively are Ganeshas or Ganapatyas. So they also have their own bhajans, whereby they can sing, they do upasana marga, worship of, that is bhakti, and follow the upasana marga to attain various objects of desire like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, any object of desire for prosperity, wealth, children, good position, status, and everything. They can pray also to Ganesha. Whatever that is, there is no restrictions in what we pray. Everybody doesn't want liberation. It's not sabki bas ki baat nahi hai. So he will one by one, slowly he will become more prosperous. Everybody will try to become prosperous first and happy. Then he may think later on about spiritual aspirations. So one who has received them all, who had achieved everything relating to Ganesh Marga, Ganapatya Parampara, is Brushundi Maharaj. In fact, Brushundi, he was so devoted to Ganesha that he used to do Manas Puja. That is, he used to, before, just on waking up early in the morning, he would do first Manasa Puja and then do actual physical puja later on. Manasa Puja, entire detail which is given, which we have discussed earlier as well. So he used to do, he was an expert in the knowledge of Ganesha principle, serving his Gurunatha at Amalashram. He went there, bowed down, and looking at Brushundi with grace, Guru Sattama said to him, that is Ganaka Rishi said to him, incarnation of Mudgala or Brushundi, you are the very image of Ganesha. In fact, Brushundi Maharaj had become so devoted to Ganesha that a trunk grew from his forehead. So he resembled the form of a Ganesha himself with the trunk on the face. The only one and only person to have a trunk on his face. So Ganaka Rishi said, you are like a very, very image of Ganesha himself. You are an expert in the Ganesh Tattva, Ganesha principle, the best of gurus of all five gods. So he resided in the Vindhya mountains and near river Krishna. The Ganapata there were established on the Veda Marga. So he gave the knowledge of the Ganapa Tattva, Ganesh Tattva, to all the people who resided there. Listening to him, Munis also absorbed everything what he said. So at that time when Chakra was ruling the central region of India, Bharatavarsha, their students gave it, their students however, the Chakra was ruling in that the central region of Bharatavarsha. So some of the students, they twisted and they gave it a new form, and that they created a new path, another path, and that became the Abhasa Marga. So they searched for a similar path and made all of them Vaidikas. After that, they arrived at Kanchipuram, which was earlier known as Somarajapura. So this was the Abhasa Marga there was a deviation from the Ganapatya Parampara. So with this we end our discussion on the Ishwaras in this chapter, third chapter of Yoga Sara of Vinayaka Rahasya Part 2. Jai Gajana.